welcome everybody to another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost, and we're here for another week of beautiful Top 10 action.
That we are, and we're going back in time on this show. Matt, we're jumping into a little bit of a time machine for both of us back to the year 1982 to do the top 10 movies from 1982. An exciting year, a year that has bit me in the ass twice now in the Schmoedown with Tootsie and The Thing, but certainly a year full of incredible movies. And some would say movies that changed the landscape of movies going forward. So a quietly great year in films, 1982.
Without a doubt. And we put it was a random number generator, gave us 1982. So that's why we chose. It's not for anything in specific, because what's coming out, it's slim pickings still. So
it is.
Although there's
the best we can.
New as of this recording that Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson Netflix movie.
Yeah,
but I haven't watched it yet.
I think it's a pseudo kind of horror film, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
right.
I've just seen still photographs. I don't know that much about it.
Right.
It seems as though these things just kind of come at, like, once they're here, they're here.
Yeah.
Project Power. It's the most advanced warning I've gotten since Space Force. Space Force, I knew well before it was coming out. There was a lot of Space Force advertising.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Space Force, yes. I surprisingly enjoyed it. I had a really good time with that. And I enjoyed Steve Carell. I enjoyed you were thinking that he was going to be kind of a doof, but he actually was a good character and had some different levels to him, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And the John Malkovich situation, you went in thinking it was going to be one thing, but it completely flip-flopped and then moved around constantly. Who was in the alpha position, who was not in the alpha position, the stuff with his family, everything about it was just a lot of fun. And Malkovich is just great in that show. Just a lot of fun.
I watched 2 episodes. I couldn't get past that.
Really? Oh, okay. You're like my girlfriend. She didn't like it either. She watched 2 episodes. Like, I can't.
Yeah. After I watched the pilot, I was ready to give up after the pilot, but there's so many talented people involved.
Yeah.
That I was like, maybe it just takes a little while for everybody to set in. You kind of understand, then watch the second one. I was like, nah, there's so much television. I hope it does well and it runs for, 50 seasons. I don't wish it ill will. It wasn't my cup of tea, but there's so much television out right now. Yeah. Although we're in a dry patch, we've gone through everything that we watch. I'm jonesing for fucking Fargo.
Oh yeah. The Chris Rock season. Hell yeah, dude.
Fargo's been so good every year. They change up the cast, they change the story, and it's still amazing.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. Great cast. I'm amped for that, but there's not a whole lot out right now that I'm actually watching.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going back and watching old stuff and getting checking off some boxes of stuff I haven't seen over the last few years. Like already on Hulu, there's like 5 films I didn't get a chance to watch over the last few months. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I never got around to that one.
I haven't seen that either. I heard it's great.
Yeah. The Nightingale. And there's a couple other ones that are on the list. So once we finish off with this move, man, it's going to be a lot more relaxed. And I'm going to have weekends to just kind of watch movies either in my place or out in the living room. I'm sorry, in my office or out in the living room. And it'll be set up so that I can watch the movies and relax and watch the movies. And right now the TV's in here, but the room is so tight, I can't really feel comfortable watching movies in here. So hopefully that'll be one thing I'll catch up on is watching all those damn movies, because I kind of, dude, I mean, we talk about movies all the time, all the shows I do and all the shows we do. It's just like, sometimes you just get to that point where like, do I really feel like a movie right now? So it's just like, it feels weird, man.
Well, invariably though, like 2 weeks of the month, whatever topic we have, I end up watching movies, sometimes 2 movies for it.
Yeah.
Just knowing it's coming. So there's all that in the rotation. There's some more often than not too. It's movies I've already seen. I just need to see it again.
Yeah.
To kind of stabilize where it'll be on my list. It's been a while. Let me watch that again, type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, because every year there's 4, 5, 6, if not more, that slip through the cracks, and then you just add that to the next year's pile and to the next year's pile, and just it adds up, man.
It adds up, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can only watch so much, and then for whatever reason, it's like I'll fall asleep watching this movie for a week,
right?
Instead of doing something new. But
yeah, And not being a part of an outlet, I don't feel like I'm not constantly going, okay, I got to get the screen. It's more, especially with the COVID now, it's more like, okay, what can they send me that I can watch at the house? What am I in the mood to watch? Do I have to cover this? Like Artemis Fowl, I was never going to watch. But if I had to do a screening for it, I would have gone to that movie.
Well, it's different.
Right. It's a different situation.
Yeah.
They're different. I mean, and there have been a few movies where I was like, I don't want to review this movie. I want to get the fuck out of this theater. Man. You have to stick around.
What about Lovecraft Country? Are you watching that?
I am not yet. Not yet. I will be binging that maybe when it's done. Because right now we're watching The Vow, which is that documentary on the NXIVM cult that's on HBO, which is great. And we're watching Love Fraud on Showtime, which is an awesome 4-part documentary series about this dude who duped all these women out of their money, and they're all coming together to come after him. It's a true story. So it's pretty cool. So that's what we're kind of into. And then a couple of things on the BritBox app, some British TV shit. But we haven't got around yet to Lovecraft Country. But once again, that's one of those ones like I'll take a Saturday and just sit down and watch them all back to back.
Fucking weird, man.
That's what I hear.
Weird.
That's what I hear.
I've seen 3. Catherine's out after 3.
Oh, she's like, it's too much. I'm out. All right.
Well, she doesn't like horror in general.
Oh, that's fair then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know how horror-y it was going to be. And I showed her the trailer and I was like, you want to give it a try? Because we got nothing else going right now.
Right.
And it's just, it's interesting. I don't know if I like it or not after 3.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm intrigued to watch the 4th. And I think now the 5th, I might be 2 weeks behind.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, and they announced that guy is going to be Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Right? Yeah.
Just to have Kang in my life. It's been a long time. You're talking about 1982. That was about my 1986, 87. Love me some Kang.
It's true.
So I saw that pop up on Twitter and I was like, oh, that's cool. They're bringing him in for the next Ant-Man. Awesome. Can't wait.
And he might become the next big baddie. Like he might become the next Thanos because he's a time traveling guy. He's existed in multiple dimensions. So, and he's had his battles with Thanos as well. So certainly he has the same kind of power that Thanos has. So could be interesting if they turn him into the kind of a bad guy, the next big baddie in Phase 5. So we'll see.
I don't know if they.
Yeah, you don't like the idea?
Well, you're just now. Basically, you're just replacing a Thanos with a Thanos. So what's unique and original kind of about this idea?
Right.
Maybe this one is a team up and it's 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
To increase the odds type of thing.
Yeah, good point. I could see that. I could totally see that.
Or they go the opposite way and it's a puppet master who's this meek but brainiac type character.
Yeah.
And he's just orchestrating all these other people to do his bidding.
Yeah.
I could see that one.
Yeah.
I know, but I love Kang, so that was awesome.
Yep. And we'll see how they play with it. I'm curious about it as well. There's so much to run through.
Are they going to do that stripy thing over his face, the little
right?
And the color scheme that he had was very distinctive. It's one of the reasons I liked him. It was an odd choice, and somehow it really works.
Yeah, he almost looks like he's wearing like a lamp for a helmet. In his but you're right. It made it work. It made it work completely. Plus his demeanor. He's so like rarely ruffled. He's just so chill throughout the whole thing, whatever's happening.
I mean, yeah, excited about that. But when is that supposed to actually come out? 2021?
Yeah.
2020, middle of 22?
Yeah, maybe middle of 22, maybe.
I think at the earliest, that's if they start now, but shit.
Yeah.
With all the CGI and shit that they're going to have to do, there's no way.
Yeah.
Unless they already started on that stuff. But
I agree with you, man. Well, Matt, we've come to the place of the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals. How are you feeling? Shock for the Clippers?
Sure. I picked the Clippers to win it.
Yeah. The whole thing. Or just
They have all the talent. They have so much talent. It's amazing. And now, of course, all the stories are coming out.
Right, of course, as they inevitably do. Yeah.
Yeah, at least some of them, because there was always going to be a narrative shift if this happened. It doesn't matter what the team is. If LeBron had it, then they were going to have a narrative shift.
Yeah.
It's been Doc's job is safe, apparently. Their cap not hamstrung, but I mean, they're kind of locked into running this back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they gave up 5 picks for Paul George, so they don't have a lot of young, fresh talent coming in.
Yeah.
So this was a fucking gamble on winning this year. As much as Paul George is now backtracking quotes all year, where we're here to win a championship. Our time is now.
Well, we didn't feel like this year, like there was imperative to championship or bust. It's
Yeah,
like,
it
what?
wasn't in
What
the
are you
locker room.
talking-
Like, that's a bunch of horse shit. That is a bunch of horse shit.
like, what are
Anybody
you
that makes it
talking
into the playoffs, you're thinking championship, but
about?
that's
Of course. And if you're
Mhm.
not, that's the reason why you lost, because you thought, well, we could do it next year. And you
Yeah.
can't have that mentality, man.
as much as Kawhi played piss poor.
He did. He had a bad game.
He
but
did.
it's not on his shoulders, man.
I
This
don't
is
think so.
I think that was a perfect moment for Paul George, who had been kind of like, taken through the ringer through the first two rounds, and certainly Skip Bayless talking that shit about Dak Prescott, on the heels of Paul George coming out speaking about the mental health issues he was experiencing in the bubble was terrible. So, like, this was a moment where he could have really stepped up, taken control of the team for one game when Kawhi was off, and really showed why they brought a second alpha dog into this team. But he couldn't do it. He only had 16 points, man.
Yeah. They missed so many. And look, up until then, by and large, Kawhi had been steady Eddie. That first round, it's if you need basically 29 or 30 points, he's going to get you that plus a nice amount of rebounds and assists every game. He averaged out to something along those lines. So he's allowed to have a bad game.
Yeah.
It sucks it came in a game 7, and it does look poorly on him, but he didn't look any different. His shot looked the exact same. He's a fucking robot. And sometimes the robot is a little bit off.
Yeah, it's true.
And, got to get some more oil in the gears. He's not getting as much rest, so that degenerative left knee condition that he has, or left leg condition.
Yeah.
It's going to act up when you're playing every other day, perhaps. And his jumper was a little bit short because he didn't have the bounce in his legs because he's not getting 2 days off every once and again.
Right.
Yeah. So Paul George, or for the series, Lou Williams or Montrezl Harrell, where were you guys until the last game? We can do this all day long.
Yeah.
It sucks for them, but it's awesome for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
By
Jamal
the time
Murray.
people hear this, we'll have 2 games in the bag plus 1 that night as you're listening to this. No idea where it's going to go. All I know is the Lakers don't want to be up 3-1 at any point.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Keep it chill.
3-0.
Or
You
2-2
gotta-
or 3-3.
2-2, good to go. You're going to win 4-2. 3-0, you close out. You're fine.
Right.
There's a few scenarios where you can guarantee you'll make it through this. Because the Nuggets are amazing. And then, game 2 is tonight of Celtics Heat. And that game was so awesome.
Dude, that game was great.
Why? My only real critique is why is at the end of regulation versus the end of overtime, Tatum has the ball both times. He shoots an step back for no reason, 3 from 30 feet. When he had 4 seconds on the clock, what he should have done is what he did in OT. And you make a run at it. Maybe you get the foul call. Maybe you don't, but you're going to OT. You can't lose the game.
Right.
I don't.
That's the swagger thing, man. Guys nowadays, you're seeing with the stars nowadays, they like to step back and hit that difficult shot because they get that kind of fame and notoriety from it. But it cost you game 1 of a conference finals. It's not a good thing, man. I agree. He should have blitzed the basket with 4 seconds left.
At the very least, or the defense would over collapse because they don't want to give up and just kick out to somebody wide who's already in a shooting position, ready to roll.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's the only, you could nitpick here and there and it's like, the defense got lazy or whatnot, but it was so back and forth. I mean, literally, if you look at it, the Celtics won the first quarter, the Heat won the second quarter, the Celtics won the third quarter, Heat won the fourth quarter. Yeah. And that's how it evens out. It's like they're up by 10, now they're up by 10, or they evened it out and now they're up by 10, now they evened it out. Yeah. So it's a great game. I can't wait for tonight's game. Yeah. Excited.
That's going to be fun. I mean, if the Heat go up 2-0,
only 1 loss so far. It's so impressive. And that block by Adebayo was fantastic.
Oh my God.
So clean.
Yeah. He was trying to jam it. And Adebayo was like,
hand gets back. And Jimmy's showing up right when Jimmy always says he does. He's quiet by and large throughout the game. And then fourth quarter, when we need Jimmy, I wish Westbrook would take this. Jimmy doesn't shoot threes until it's a high leverage moment when they need a 3. And he's so far in the playoffs, he shoots it twice. He makes both.
Yep.
He missed 1 last game, but he hit that clutch one late. Yeah. At the end of regulation to get this game, knotted.
Well, it's been fun to watch, man. I mean, I love being a Heat fan through this playoffs because or a fan of what the Heat are doing through this playoffs because Jimmy has this force of will, dude, and he seems to be in the right place.
Yep.
And he just feels like you're like, this is what he's been waiting for. This opportunity with a team like this that he feels completely connected to with everyone who's on the court. And he feels he's got a basketball mind like Spoelstra's that matches his. And so it's like, okay, I'm in the right and I'm humming, and so it's fun to watch them play. Whereas on the other side, Brad again has to deal with like his point guard that is a little off with Kemba constantly showing up, not showing up, showing up, not showing up. Which is a different thing when you're dealing with Kyrie, obviously, to deal with. But like you've got, once again, a point guard that's kind of like, half in, half out. So you're trying to negotiate that. It's an extra headache to throw into the fact that you already have this pressure of being in the Eastern Conference Finals again. So
it's a lot of fun. These playoffs have been absolutely fantastic. I do miss the crowd now that we're getting later and later into the games.
Right. You're so fucking right, dude.
It's also such a unique experience that I'm relishing every moment because NBA basketball is never going to look like this ever again.
Yeah, true.
So try and drink in every moment because we're going to go back to what I'm accustomed to, and this is going to be the anomaly in the equation. So yeah. I've watched more basketball in such a concentrated period of time in my life. It's been fantastic, man. I've watched, or if I have something to do, I have it on in the background. But basketball is constantly playing. I just flat out tell Catherine, like, I'm watching 2 games today. I've gotten to the point where I don't say sorry. I just go, I'm watching 2 games today.
This is my schedule.
This is my schedule. I will do other things, things need to be done, but this is a concern for me today.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's a fun time of the year with the NBA playoffs right here in the finals, both Eastern and Western Conference, and I'd say 4 really good teams on a roll. All 4 teams. I think you've got 4 different characters. Characteristics of each team. The Celtics are just quiet assassins the whole year. The underdog's a spunky team in the Heat. The Nuggets is a team on the ascendancy who had come close last year, and then you've got this Lakers with all the expectations on them. So it's like a great combination of teams to have in a Final Four. So I'm excited too.
Exactly. Now looking at that landscape, it's like LeBron could very easily win another championship.
Oh yeah, he could.
But given the weirdness in this, I would not be surprised if it's a very good, I hope it goes 7. And my overall hope is that Denver wins just because Denver, the Lakers have a lot of championships. It's not anti-Laker. It's like, I'd like to see somebody else make it. And this is a really cool story. And Jamal Murray and Jokic are so fantastic. Michael Porter, if he can get his attitude in check, he is going to be lights out one day. Gary Harris is back. Like, they're a shitload of fun.
Yeah,
Jeremy Grant is perfect role. Paul Millsap being old man awesome every once and again.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. But at the same time, it's like, I'd like to see AD in the championship. What is that like? Will he shrink from the moment? I know what LeBron's going to give me. Is Caruso going to be the darling of? Are we going to get more playoff Rondo? I could do this with every team.
Yeah.
Because they're all really intriguing. I like that. That's the other thing about this year's. There's no truly anointed they're going to win.
Right.
Now it's the Lakers to lose, but
I'm curious to see how Jokic handles Anthony Davis because, man, everybody's been kissing Jokic butt since the end of that series with the Clippers. Yeah. So
he's not known for his defense. So
that's what I'm saying. Now we'll see what he really does in this situation, if he becomes a liability or if they can figure out a way to hide him.
I'm guessing they go back to running out JaVale and Dwight.
Oh, really? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Then you'll have Porter when he's in more than likely on AD just for his length.
Yeah.
Because I think Millsap is too slow at this point, or Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll JaVale will be seeing minutes. My guess is he's starting tomorrow night.
No, probably. Yeah, good point. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, when you talk about basketball, you talk about some of the great glory days, and certainly the 80s were great glory days, and we're doing 1982. I think this is the year the Sixers finally got over the hump against the Lakers, I think. And I think this is the faux year, isn't it? Or is this Lakers over Celtics in 82?
Isn't it Lakers over Celtics? All right.
Maybe it is. 1982 NBA Finals, Lakers Sixers. Lakers win this one 4-2.
Yeah.
All right. So the Lakers win. They beat the Sixers 4-2 in 1982, June 7th, 1982. And 1982 is the top 10 we're countdown today, top 10 1982 movies. So that was another stellar series. Matt, do you want to tell them how the show works?
Sure. Once we set a topic, we go our individual ways, create personal top 10. Let's show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom. All right. Start us off, my man.
Okay. Good year in film. There's going to be at least one I don't think either of us is going to have that everybody's going to complain about.
Of course. And they probably already know about it if they know our show.
Exactly. And so, enjoy your opinion, man. Because we're not going to change it.
Nope.
Although the Smithsonian has contacted us and these lists are official. So it is, okay. ET has now been officially left off the top 10 of that year.
Yeah.
Wikipedia will be changed next week on Tuesday. It's a quick moving process.
Of course.
Anyway, at 10, I got Night Shift.
Oh, nice choice. Yeah. Ron Howard.
Howard, Mike Keaton.
Yep.
Oh gosh, darn it. Henry Winkler.
Yes.
And
Shelley Long.
Yes, and Shelley Long.
Yeah.
It's a fun little comedy where you can see Keaton's about to be somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on the precipice.
Yeah.
He's on the cusp.
You're right about there. And then the next year, probably 18 months is when he fully breaks. And Michael Keaton just rattles off 4 or 5 movies in 3 years. So it's really fun to go back and watch for that. I like the movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I go back to watch for Keaton just to see like the early glimpses of this guy. And it's nothing against Henry. He, by all accounts, is one of the most pleasant people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And I'm envious for not having met him for that reason.
Yeah.
But I think it's more for me, the fascination with Keaton. And he's been a big part of my life since Mr. Mom and Gung Ho, then to Batman, then to I was lamenting him disappearing, to now the resurgence when he was coming back around. I couldn't have been happier.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. And he's done even movies that don't come up for like The Founder.
Yeah. Good. You see, that's another one on my list. I got to watch that one again.
He's awesome in it.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
The movie's good. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly.
Right.
But it's like a Trumbo, but much, much better Trumbo.
Okay.
Where you're tuning in for him.
Right.
And you learn quite a bit about McDonald's, actually, which is crazy. I didn't know where they actually make their money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Amazon with cloud computing. That's where they make all their money to subsidize the service that gets all our information, and then they sell that information. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I like the movie. I remember being very funny. I remember when was it Michael Keaton throws himself off near the end, where he throws himself off the stairs and lands and pops right back up, and they're all just shocked. It was such an interesting, unique type of movie, and the 80s specialized in those kind of raunchy comedies.
Well, that
also have heart to them, and so
running a cat house out of a morgue.
Yeah.
Only in the 80s, man.
It was like Dr. Detroit, right? When Dan Aykroyd takes over and he's running the prostitutes out of there. It's all for fun and playful.
Like Porky's will never be remade.
Porky's. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Meatballs will never be remade.
Right.
I think Meatballs has a closer chance. Porky's does not. Only in the 80s, baby.
I was watching Back to School the other day, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way you could make this now. Like, there's so many. I mean, you could, but you'd have to cut out so much of the scenes that are troublesome. Like,
and didn't you watch that for Rodney alone?
Yeah, but I'm saying Rodney rolling up on the girls' sorority, thinking it's his son's fraternity, walking in through the door, then blatantly just walking into the shower, yanking over a shower curtain, and of course, some young nubile girl. Yeah, with her boobs out that you can totally see, or breasts out, sorry. And he closes it and he goes, "Oh my God." And then he opens it again to go, "You look incredible," and then shuts it back up or something like that. So you couldn't get away with that.
You don't want to use the word boobs? What's wrong with boobs?
I don't know. I don't want to piss people off or offend people. It's all crazy nowadays. So I'm trying to be careful where I can be careful, but sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you're really protecting all your bases.
Just try. But anyway, you couldn't make it now. You couldn't make it for a number of reasons, man.
For a billion reasons, it does not get made now.
Right. I forgot William Zabka is in it. The guy who's of course obviously in Cobra Kai. I forgot he's the bad guy in the film. So it's cool. It was cool to see that again. So, but it'd be fun. All right, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Tron.
Oh yeah, that was the hardest cut I've made, man. I love Tron Legacy and I like Tron, but I just felt these other films just spoke to me a little bit more. Even though I do love Tron and I do love the Tron franchise.
Okay. I think it's mostly, if we had done this when I was 12 or something,
Yeah,
Tron would be one of my favorite movies from 1982 because it was magic every time it came on.
yeah,
And now as an adult, there are certain scenes and certain action sequences and whatnot that I still find amazing.
sure.
I love those roaming tank things.
Oh,
that have
yeah.
the legs. I could have watched a whole boring movie of those things just making maneuvers. I thought it was awesome.
Right.
And the speed bikes and the disc war thing, the game that they amped up on fucking Molly and Speed for the sequel. It's cool to look at, and then other times you're like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, yeah.
The
light cycle stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
light cycle stuff was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I go back to Tron and that early love of Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other guy from the television star.
Yeah, Bruce Boxleitner.
There you go. Nice pull.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
That's a little bit before my time. He was big to what my parents watched type of stuff to me.
Right. Big in the 80s, good guest star on 80s TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of like 80s male lead type look.
If LA Law was in 1980, he would have been on LA Law.
Yeah, probably.
Just any of those. He's not a dynasty type.
No. And he showed up in the sequel in Tron
He did.
Legacy. He still looked good. He still looked like he could do it. And his voice was even gravelly from old age. So it totally worked, man. I liked him in the sequel.
He could have a nice, maybe Tarantino will put him in his next movie.
Could be. Why not? Why not?
Perfect casting for him.
He's got a
Once
great
again,
name.
well, people don't know that was on Topic Thunder. He'll get a page for me.
Yeah.
You'll understand that joke later.
It's a time joke.
So, well, we're going back in time. That joke is future in time. So we're doing a little bit of everything on this one.
That's right.
But yeah, it ends up at 9 because now I can easily fast forward through certain chunks.
Right.
But I will still watch, the vast majority of it. But it does not capture the same kind of magic that it once did.
Yeah.
But the parts that do will always at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my 9.
What's your 8?
My 8 is The Verdict.
Oh, that's a slight punt. It's just
Okay.
a slight punt. Yeah,
Just
right
ever
on.
so slight.
It's ever so.
Just a bit outside.
The chef's kiss of a punt. All right, my number 10 is Poltergeist.
Oh, I missed that. Let's see. Would Poltergeist make my list? It would slide in at like 10.
Okay.
So I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Fair. Yeah. This is, I don't always rank horror films or don't always put horror films on some of these rankings, man. But this one is one of these classic ones that still works for me, still go back or still scares the shit out of me, still messes with me. And then, of course, when you hear about all the stuff that happened off the set later and all the weird curses that happened to all the people involved in this production is kind of scary as well. But overall, I just thought this film did such great work in giving you a family that is dealing with what they call a poltergeist ghost. The little girl getting sucked into the TV and into the netherworld of whatever that is, or the other dimension of whatever that is, the big head coming out of the hallway, all of that. And then, of course, the culmination into them finding out that they've been buried or the house was put on a burial ground of Native American people. And then you see all the skeletons popping up out of the thing. So all of it, all around. Plus, you get a young, beautiful Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But those are real skeletons too.
Oh, really? Were they? Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
It's one of the last movies I could think of off the top of my head, but it's something I've kind of, once I found out that, they would have used more than likely or some shitty plastic version.
Probably.
What was the last movie? This is the last one I could think of.
Yeah.
Because it was cheaper.
Right. You just grab those from the college and use them, I guess.
I don't know where they got it. Maybe from a medical supply company that just had it. It was supposed to be an anatomy figure and they took it off and then threw it in some muddy water to scare, I would say, mostly white people in theaters.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I was
at that time. That was their game plan, at least.
Yeah.
It's fucking that movie's a real piece of work.
Yeah, I mean the stuff with the tree coming through the window, the stuff with the little doll wrapping its long arms around the kid's neck. All of it, just all around, just great. Great stuff. I loved it, and still one of my favorite ones to go back to. And it was Tobe Hooper who had done the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then there's a lot of rumors that Spielberg had directed the film because he was producer on the film. That Tobe was kind of like they couldn't figure out the right medium, and so Steven kind of. So who knows? But all around, it's one of my favorites. All right, so then my number 9 is Rocky 3.
Okay, not on my list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I had to put it on. I sacrificed some other really good ones not to put on to the top 10 list, which frustrated me, but that speaks to how good of a year it was. But Rocky 3, man. I mean, this one I can quote it from beginning to end. This film. Love this film. Love the soundtrack in the film. Love the score of the film. Rocky's journey. Love the confrontation with his wife on the beach. It's one of the best scenes in the entire Rocky franchise.
Is this the one with the running on the beach and they jump and embrace one another?
Yeah. But one moment doesn't take away all the other great moments that are going on. When he's like, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And he's got to learn to dance. He's got to learn to fight and dance. He's got to learn to swim. He's got to lose the weight. He's got to take on Mr. T, man. Mr. T is iconic in that movie.
Clubber Lang was great.
Clubber Lang's amazing.
Honestly, Rocky 4 is the only one I'll watch. I don't really care.
I know.
I think 3 is a good movie, but I just won't rewatch it.
Wow, it's insane. You're the rare red-blooded American male who doesn't watch these Rocky films over and over and over again.
4, I will, because I'm a fucking patriot, okay?
Oh, boy.
We defeated communism once. We could defeat it again.
I think we should do a special review of the 40th anniversary that's coming out of that movie, or 30th and whatever it is, but they're coming out later on this year in November, I think, with it's a director's cut of Rocky 4. Stallone has gone back into the
he took out the robot.
Yeah, he's cut out the robot, but he's also added. I know, I agree with you. Yeah, it sucks. He's also added stuff. He's trying to make it a little more serious.
Yeah,
so,
no,
curious.
Look, is the robot stupid? Yeah, but it's a nice touchstone of the 80s.
Yes, it's very 80s.
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
It's in these weird little jarring scenes that for me don't really detract. Even when I was a kid, I didn't understand. I had the thought of why am I watching this?
Yeah.
It doesn't pay off really. And there's the insinuation that Paulie kind of fucks it, doesn't it? It's not like a full, but it's like, okay, it's a weird 80s kind of that would never make it in a movie.
Right.
But like I had a stupid little robot that I got from Radio Shack or some shit like that had a tiny little controller and it could work from 5 feet away and had this little microphone and you could speak into it and it would relay it out the front. Right. It had 2 little arms, but the arms couldn't move. It was just a stupid. I had one. That's all I did. And I fucking loved that thing, and it worked for who knows how long, and then it stopped working and it was dead.
Yeah.
It sucks that he's taking it out, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, what can I say? No, so I guess the 30th anniversary, but like,
no, it'd be with it.
Well, for the Rocky 4, for Rocky 4.
35th or something.
Is that what it is? Rocky.
Wait, 1980 what? 6? 1985.
85. So 35th anniversary.
Yeah, okay. To be out.
Yeah, good point. But I'm not a fan of 74-year-old men going back and re-editing something they did in their 30s because it's a completely different point of view. It's a completely different mentality, and the stuff you found that worked for the film at the time. It works for the film at the time for a reason. What are you going to cut out Hulk Hogan as well? Are you going to cut out Hulk Hogan, the Thunderlips, the Ultimate Male? Oh wait, no, that's 3. My bad. What is 4? Oh yeah, you're going to cut out. I guess not. You cut out the robot, I guess. But like, there's more here to that's cheesy. Like you got to cut out that speech at the end. That's the cheesy part of that movie. Jeez.
Oh, dude, it's so fantastically terrible that it's awesome. It is awesome. I can change. You can change. Oh, are you kidding me?
It's
what
never
makes the movie for me. It's this build up to this guy has just been punched in the face like no other. He's a piece of iron. And just takes. That's why I like the start of the next one where he has brain damage. Makes sense. You got your noggin rattled in that last movie.
Well, if you had brain damage, you wouldn't deliver a speech like that. That's the fucking truth. So
you would. I can change. I don't care that he's doing it so long as it doesn't go the Lucas route of like, nope, this is the only way you'll ever be able to buy it going forward.
Well, fuck that. I have every
I hate
version
that.
of Rocky IV there is. I have it, and you never take it away.
No, yeah. But eventually there will come a time where that physical media gets lost and whatnot, and you only have the digital copy. And if the only digital copy that anybody can buy is this altered one, it's just like, I hate that about the Star Wars. It's so tough to get the originals. Because now these new ones are the real ones. Like, what? No, they're not. They're not.
It's the way the director intended it. No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Give me both. I don't mind.
Yeah.
There are some flourishes and ideas in there that I think are interesting, but
yeah.
No.
Right.
And like he was the one that lobbied before Congress about altering black and white films because he wanted to preserve the cinematic heritage when they were talking about colorizing all of it and saying, no, it was meant to be viewed in this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And now you're going back and doing that to your own. It's yours.
Yeah.
By rights. but it's kind of like ours too.
I mean,
a little bit. Something.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I mean, for me, Rocky III just works on so many levels. I love as I said, I think the relationship with him and Adrian is more fleshed out in this movie, and you have the competition on the beach is just incredible. The writing in that, the honesty in that. He's like, well, what are you afraid of? It's like, I don't want to lose what I got. No, we got cars. I go, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid. Why are you afraid? Well, because there's more to lose. Well, we're all going to be here. So stop being afraid. You need to embrace this thing and go for it. And that's what she's trying to tell him. It's like, don't worry about everything else. Because, she says, when everyone's through chanting your name, you can't live like this. We can't live like this. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's just telling him, it's a pretty honest moment, between a wife of a fighter and the fighter talking about how the fighter needs this adulation. And she's saying the adulation is not always going to be there. You got to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Or else you're not going to be able to make it post your career, because look what ends up happening to Apollo. Rocky doesn't get in that ring with Drago later in life like Apollo does because of that situation. When he gets in the ring, it's ironic in Rocky Balboa. It's after Adrian has died. So he's got something he's working out, but there's no way Adrian would have let him get back in a fucking ring in Rocky Balboa, which is why he had to kill her off. It makes sense. You hated it, but it makes sense. Anyway, all right. So then my number 8 is Tootsie. Is that on your list?
No, it was a tough cut.
Wow.
But I don't watch it again. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm one I'm going to seek out, and it's in that realm on my list.
Okay. All right.
So
I love Tootsie. It's one of my favorite movies. And I just when I was doing the Schmodown, I blanked on the director until the last second. Couldn't get it written down in time. Knew it, but just couldn't get it written down in time. It's a shame. But overall, a great film. Love Dustin Hoffman. Love Bill Murray in it. Jessica Lange. Gina Davis has a small part in it as well. Sidney Pollack, who directed the film. Charles Durning is funny as a guy who's like, but the whole thing where he dresses up as the woman, like, it's so groundbreaking back in 1982, right when feminism and the Equal Rights Amendment was happening coming out of the 70s and all of that. So you had this idea of like, okay, 9 to 5 was 1980, I think, the Dolly Parton one, Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda. So we're exploring the idea of gender dynamics in the workplace, and so I thought it was brilliant to see it through the eyes of this guy who was a dick and nobody wanted to work with him. But all of a sudden he dressed up as a woman and he could get work, but he had to also confront the way he'd been as a man towards women. And so what the misogyny and the sexism that occurs in those films, so I mean, in life, in those careers. So I thought it was great. I just love it. It's still funny, still works. It's very sweet.
Yeah. If you've never seen it, it's worth a watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, what's your number 7?
My 7 is The Secret of Nim.
Oh, that's all you, my man.
I figured it wasn't going to make your list.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched a documentary about Don Bluth and had the build up to this, and he took on, I want to say it was Black Cauldron. So he wanted nothing more to work for Disney, and Disney was like, well, we do it our way type of thing.
Yeah.
So then he crushes them. Nim beat them on the same opening box office weekend, I believe.
It makes sense.
It's such an interesting and unique little story. It's these mice and rats that were experimented on. Now they've gained extra, like they're smarter now. It's Flowers for Algernon type of situation where the rodent got smarter, but they can talk and whatnot.
Right.
And but they exist on basically living near us. They kind of leech off of our electricity. They steal that and they steal this. They're smart enough to. They've just kind of been reliant on it.
Yeah.
So they're talking about leaving, and then there's this little mouse who you follow around, and she's the focus of it. And her husband was also experimented on. It's a fairly dark animated movie.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah,
but it's really good, and it gets in and out in under 90 minutes. It's got a hell of a punch. You jump right in. They give you the quick backstory on the characters. What Dom DeLuise, I believe, is the voice of a bird. It's a crow that keeps tangling himself up, and then he gets a little lady friend by the end. Good for you. But it's it's got kind of swashbuckling swordplay, but they're these rats and whatnot, and there's like this mystical kind of force also working with them. So it's got all the fantasy stuff that should work with a story like that. And I've seen it several times. It holds up. And once I saw it was on the release for this year, it's like, yeah, Secrets of NIMH I love that movie. So there you go. It's my 7. It's not on your list.
Not on my list. No, unfortunately not. But a damn good movie. I know it's one that I like. That one and Watership Down are two of those unusual 1980s type animated films where animation kind of pushed the boundaries of what the independent animation that was outside of Disney pushed the boundaries of what they were trying to do with that medium. And I thought it was great. I agree. All right. My number 7 is Conan the Barbarian.
I got my number 6.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Matt. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. Go ahead. You're 6.
No worries. Well, it's going to be a punt. Star Trek 2.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
So it's fine.
All right. As I was saying, my number 7 then is Conan the Barbarian. Is that on your list?
No.
Okay. I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, look, this film just kind of works for me just all the time. Every time I watch it, just love it so much. I love Schwarzenegger. It's prime Schwarzenegger. Before he becomes this massive star, he's still kind of plodding around the movie, figuring out, trying to play the scenes. He almost seems like he's playing him like he's kind of not too smart and kind of a primal animal, but then that's a choice. And the way he does him, the way he plays him throughout the movie, I love that. And then when he gets that critical moment where he's like, if you don't help me, I said, I said, what he says, to hell with you, Crom. It's great. I love it. And what he goes through on the journey, befriending the blonde girl, getting a couple other companions, and what they go through to confront James Earl Jones. And James Earl Jones is badass in this movie as well. All the snake imagery is fantastic. Cult imagery could still work today for sure. All of it, and so I just love it. And it's so much fun. And I think John Milius wrote it. Or Oliver Stone wrote it. I'm pretty sure it's John Milius who wrote it.
Okay.
I think it is. Who writes like really kind of badass motherfucking movies that I thoroughly enjoy. Let's see. Yeah, it's who is it? John Milius writes it and directs it. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's pretty, and Oliver Stone. Yeah. So then it was Milius and Stone. So you knew you were getting like, kind of a hardcore badass male type of movie, and so I love it for that. Absolutely.
Is this with James Earl Jones?
Yeah, he plays the villain.
Yeah, the snake guy.
Yeah, so good. And the special effects really work too when he becomes the snake. It doesn't look cheesy or Harryhausen type special effects.
It's better than everything else. Not everything else, but a lot of what else was coming out around that time, even a few years later.
Yep. Still works now.
Yeah, it's good. I just not one I revisit. I got nothing against it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, my number 6 then is The Verdict, which is your punt from earlier. So really, really hard to keep this out of the top 5, but in the end I had to, even though I think it's one of the best Paul Newman performances ever. And I'd probably put this film in the top 3 of Paul Newman films ever for me. It's a film I came back to all the time. I watched on VHS religiously all the time. Just something about the Crusader against the Catholic Church, exposing the lies that they tell to people, exposing the bullshit that they do, and also the Catholic Church kind of standing in for any corporation that was kind of getting big in the 80s that had to be subjected to these kinds of situations and these lawsuits before there was tort reform and that kind of stuff. You saw this happening more and more. You saw these places having to take responsibility for the shit they did, and you have a broken down ambulance chasing alcoholic lawyer who who was once great, and finally gets a case that worth his salt, and it changes his life and the journey he goes on and the chances he takes, where he could absolutely fail and completely blow up himself and the case and lose these people their money, and doom this young woman to, it somehow, through some grit and determination and some fortune, it ends up the way it ends up. But it's incredible acting, incredible directing. And I just love it.
It's an atypical character for Paul Newman. This guy's been down on his luck, and he's an alcoholic, and that's specifically why he's the one that ends up having to be the lawyer in this case, because nobody else will take it. It's a loser, and he's a loser. So perfect. We're going to trump them very easily in court. And he decides to not take the cheap route and put his neck on the line. Finally make some sort of change, stand up for himself. Do something as opposed to just letting yourself drift away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which is all he would have been happy to do. Just continue to drink and play his fucking pinball and not have any social or relationship connections, and just die in an early grave. Yeah. And says, I'm getting too old for this shit, man. I'm not going to take it anymore. And he goes full network, and it's good.
And Jack Warner as his friend, who tries to keep him on the straight and narrow, and then Charlotte Rampling as the woman who pulls what she pulls on him, and all of it is it's such a brutal, emotional movie that he has to navigate. I love it. I love it to pieces. I think it's Sidney Lumet too. I think
that sounds about right.
Great stuff there.
It's got a Lumet touch to it,
right? Pretty sure it is. Yep, Sidney Lumet. Yep, absolutely. And Mamet wrote the screenplay, bro. Damn, I didn't know that. Wow.
I didn't know that either.
That's my number 6. So
all right. So my 5 is, get ready to say punt once again.
Okay.
Which is Blade Runner.
That is a punt.
Okay. It's in my top 5. So it's not like I'm assuming it's I'm at the Hillary step and you're at the peak. That's my guess.
Probably. Then my number 5 is The Thing.
Okay, now we're saying punt on my end.
That's fair. What's your number 4?
My 4, probably not on your list. Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Knock yourself out. Great, fucking great movie, dude.
I legitimately could not tell you how many times I've seen it.
Wow.
Look, I was a stoner kid in high school, and who occasionally took psychedelics, and Pink Floyd is right in that wheelhouse, along with, if you want to go like a darker route doing that type of stuff. There's also the happier shit, and I was listening to those bands as well. But yeah, Pink Floyd I've watched I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
And it's, now you see the scope of what they were trying to do with the overall record. Without that, I would have understood it was a concept, and you could kind of visualize some aspects of it.
Yeah.
But to put faces to names and whatnot and see the downward spiral, and there's also a discussion about Roger Waters. Syd Barrett, rather.
Yeah.
I think that was his name. It's always fascinated me. Plus, I love that album, that double album, 2 CDs when I was a kid. Yeah. And I've listened to that I don't know how many times, along with a lot of other Pink Floyd, too.
That's funny. Floyd, man. I can only dip my toe in the Pink Floyd pool every once in a while, right? Like, I mean, obviously, I loved We Don't Need No Education. Another Brick in the Wall, rather. I loved that song. And that was the mainstream song from that album.
Sure.
But then Comfortably Numb, I discovered later in life, because at the time, I wasn't watching that at 12 years old, Pink Floyd The Wall. It's no way my parents were going to let me watch that. It wasn't until much later in life. And then when I watched it, I was like, this is like, I think I remember I watched it on VH1 the first time, and it was like all cut up and shit. So then I watched the full thing uncut, and you're like, there is so much happening here. There is so much going on. It could work on like any number of levels that you wanted to work on: PTSD, mental health, drug addiction, whatever it is. It's all there. Terrible upbringing, terrible family life, all of it kind of corrode you from the inside out. All of it. But then Comfortably Numb, like I think it was the The Departed when I went back and watched The Wall and then listened to the double, and I was like, wow, this is great shit. So Comfortably Numb has become one of my favorite fucking songs, bar none, man. Bar none, dude.
Well, go back and listen to, if you haven't, the album Animals.
Okay.
And I bet you would like 87's Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Okay. All right.
And then if you like that, then you'll like the Division Bell, which came out in 94. I just looked up the years to make sure, because it's a span of time between.
Right.
But their early stuff, it's a lot of weird experimental stuff on one album.
Yeah.
Animals, I think you'll like.
Okay.
And then Dark Side, you've heard. Even if you've never sat down to listen to the album, you've heard the album. Yeah. It's great, but at this point, it's overplayed.
Right.
I know all those songs, but Animals and
Animals. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, check them out, and then Momentary Lapse of Reason. I think those two you would like.
Okay, I'm down with that. It's because they've got a channel. I don't think they have a channel actually on Sirius XM. They don't have one of those channels which you could discover all their shit if they did have one. You know what I'm saying? You can get a mask. You can get a mask with Pink Floyd.
They did a live album in the late 90s that was excellent too.
Okay.
The 2-discer at the time. But now it's whatever. It's on iTunes.
Yeah, wish you were here. Is that one of the newest one or later ones? Pulse. The later years. Animals. There's Animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Animals is their early iteration.
Okay.
And then you get Dark Side and The Wall after that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anything else? Yeah, Wish You Were Here you'd like as well.
Okay. Well, Momentary Lapse of Reason. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. So those three, because those are you can see where they're leading up to, but they're more of the concepts haven't gotten as extravagant yet.
Right.
I Wish You Were Here in Animals. It's getting there.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of Floyd. Spent a lot of time with Floyd. They're good. They're good, man. I remember
what can I say? They're fucking good, man.
When Catherine was moving out of the old shop and moved into the new shop, I spent 3 days fixing and doing all the repairs and repainting and all that stuff.
Right.
And her dad showed up at one point, and I'm up scraping this I'm perched on a ladder sitting with the door to the front open because I need to scrape off this paint they put on the glass.
Yeah.
And it comes off. You just got to scrape. And I'm listening to Floyd, and he walks up and he's like, "Oh, Floyd, huh?" And I was like, way back, baby, way back. I love, there's a lot of bands that I've listened to a lot.
Right. No, I know this one. Yeah, I know Learning to Fly. I know from
you're playing it for yourself?
Yeah, I can play through the headphones.
So that song is the vibe of that album.
Oh, really?
Learning to Fly is the hookiest, the best, the one that's going to capture you the most. But it's got a nice ebb and flow to it.
Yeah, man. I remember liking this song a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
Of no turning back. Yeah.
The sky, tongue tied and twisted, just an earthbound misfit. Yeah.
Is Dogs of War their version of Dogs of War, the Black Sabbath Dogs of War, or did they do it first?
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
I would assume Sabbath.
Yeah, I think Sabbath did it first. Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
Still, hearing their version is probably fucking badass. So I can't wait to listen to that. Yeah, dude, it's on Amazon MP3 digital music, so I can just listen to the whole album after we're done with the show. I'll probably do that while I'm watching the game, which is weird. The Pink Floyd while you're watching basketball. Such an old man thing to do.
2 birds with 1 stone. Enjoy.
All right, so that was your number 4. So, and Bob Geldof is great in that movie. People will think he's just the Band-Aid guy.
I know, he's good.
He's pretty great in that movie.
He plays Mania where it's believable.
Oh yeah, I mean that scene in the bathroom when he's like,
and then finding out like somehow the ripple effect of finding out like his daughter was a big party girl. And then she became famous for that, like the Paris Hilton of England.
Yeah, Peaches Geldof. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
I knew her name was Peach. It was something like Peaches.
Yeah,
I knew it from this and then Live Aid. and that's all I knew Bob
Live
Geldof.
Aid. No, that's what I meant. Live Aid. Sorry. Yeah, I always get Live Aid and Band Aid mixed up. It's my bad.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Band-Aid.
All right. So then my number 4 is Gandhi. Gandhi.
Oh, that's a punt. Really, 4?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for various reasons.
Well,
various reasons.
Yeah, things we've already punted for at least. Yeah. So I'll be intrigued what the other one is. My number 3 then is King of Comedy.
Yeah, not on my list.
Oh, dude, I
put it on.
Rewatched it a year ago.
Yeah, it's
all over again in the lead up to like Joker when it was burbling. It's like, it's gonna kind of be like this. I was like, all right, I'll go back and rewatch King of Comedy.
Yeah.
It is good. Rupert Pupkin.
It's such a great name, dude.
It fits the character to a T, and Robert De Niro acts the living shit. I mean, look at the string of movies he's done to that point. And Pupkin has the mania that other of his characters have had. Yeah. But it's this completely different complexion. That's easily my favorite Sandra Bernhard performance of all time.
Oh, yeah.
All time.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, because otherwise it's Roseanne or
Hudson Hawk.
Sure. I'm sure she made an appearance on Grace Under Fire at some point.
Oh, probably.
It's not a whole lot.
But not just Bobby. I mean, you got Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis is great in the film as well. My God, this is for people who had grown up with the goofy dude, with the muscular dystrophy guy.
Hi.
Yeah, that guy. To watch him in King of Comedy, like, oh, so there is a very ruthless motherfucker hanging out inside this dude, you know?
Well, but like we had seen, what was the Sean Hayes and can't remember the other guy's name I can picture.
Oh, yeah. They're Dean and Martin or whatever.
Yeah.
Martin Lewis, right?
You've heard the stories over the years.
Yeah.
At least I did. The people that grew up with him more than likely assumed like, oh, he's probably like this goofy, lovable type of guy. And he had that in him, but he also had the super serious side.
Yeah. You don't succeed in this business, especially in comedy, I guess at that time, without having that kind of like hard ass streak. Like Sid Caesar was a bit of an asshole as well. And a number of these comedians. Oh, Bill Burrow, right. He stole people's jokes all the time.
Oh, that's not even the half of it, you know? It's one of the lesser of his transgressions.
How many motherfuckers would survive nowadays? Zero, almost zero.
You know what they always say about Uncle Milty?
What's that?
He only pulled out enough to win.
Yikes.
That's what I've heard about him.
Yikes, dude.
More than one story. And that's part of the hazing bullshit that he would do.
Right, right.
Suddenly I'm dealing with somebody's crank, and I wasn't anticipating that today. Behavior a la Porky's that would never happen today.
Yeah, you're right. Shit, what was that? I think it's Jeremy Northam who plays Dean Martin in that movie. Because Sean Hayes also played Larry
in the Stooges.
Yeah, in the Three Stooges movie, which I thought he actually did a good job. Yeah, it is Jeremy Northam. Fuck me. All right, I got that right.
Yeah, I can picture the dude what he looks like, but I couldn't tell you.
Jeremy Northam.
He had a run for a little while in movies, and then
he did because he was in Emma, the Gwyneth Paltrow one. Right. He's great in The Crown. He's great in The Crown.
And Happy Texas, if you ever saw that.
Oh yeah, Happy Texas. Is that
Steve
Zahn? Yeah. Right.
I like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's great as the Prime Minister.
Oh yeah, on Crown.
Yeah, first season of The Crown, first and second season of The Crown. He's really good in that. So yeah, crazy man. But but I mean, like everything he does there with Rupert Pupkin is everybody's greatest fear to have as a fan. Someone who has this undeniable belief in themselves that they can be just as good as you, and they just need you to give them an opportunity. And they don't want to wait and earn it and go through the ranks. They want you to give it to them because they believe they could be that good.
Yeah.
And they don't take no for an answer. He's like a battering ram. And he's not mean or evil. He's just has a goal he wants to reach. And so he's going to do what he can to get there. And it's just like, it's unsettling.
I mean, I would say it's a gradation of evil.
Fair enough.
Mean, I agree with you. I don't think he's mean.
No, I don't think he's mean.
But he definitely, he's got a mania, obviously, but it manifests itself like when he's in the waiting room before he ever
Oh,
kidnaps
yeah.
him,
Oh, my
and
God.
just sits there all day, just like, ba, 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 you know, smiling, trying to chat up the lady. And at first she's nice. And then the next scene is like, it's 4 days later and he's continued to do this. And they're like, dude, he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
They escort him from the building. And
Yeah.
so anyway, it's my number 3. I think it's awesome.
That's a great point, man. It's a great film. My number 3 is First Blood.
Oh, shit. I missed that on the list. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I skipped over.
First Blood.
Yes, all right. So that would be.
What would that be? Great score, by the way, man.
I might put that at 2.
Wow.
First Blood is great.
Wow. At 2.
Yeah, so I'll do that at 2 and bump everything else down. Night Shift just got bumped.
All right. Off the list.
Yeah. Off the list.
Great score from Jerry Goldsmith in this movie. I love it. Stallone is fantastic. And this is Stallone before it becomes like, fucking superstar Stallone. This is still Stallone kind of progressing to where he needs to get to.
Yeah.
And he's in great shape, and this is right when the Vietnam veteran movies were all coming out, Missing in Action, Uncommon Valor, Platoon a few years later. This is all around the Vietnam era time of movies coming out. And it's an unusual one because he's a veteran coming back and he's dealing with PTSD, with which some of the films kind of touched on but didn't 100% dive into.
Yeah.
And you see it happening in this movie. And then Brian Dennehy's ruthless. The late, great Brian Dennehy is ruthless as this sheriff. And it's funny to watch it in 2020 with all the complaints about corrupt cops or cops that use their badges to kind of break the law and inflict their will on unsuspecting people or on people that they want to bully. And, and Stallone is trying to figure out where he belongs. And the cop just unnecessarily instigates the situation. And it just kind of blows. It just kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it becomes this massive confrontation. And then something so unusual happens when he breaks down and cries in front of Colonel Troutman at the end. You're just like, oh, wow, dude.
That's what makes it a great movie.
Yep.
Because it's an interesting story up until that point. And you see ultimately when he kind of crumbles before you.
Yeah.
The seismic activity that's going on in his life. And this is, the shell is gone. This is what he's been reduced to.
Right.
So, I mean, in the middle of an action film, Stallone gives one of the best performances of his career.
Agreed. 1,000%.
In the middle of and it's an excellent action movie, but it elevates it just above and beyond the vet walking through and he gets into scrape with the cops and they're corrupt.
Right.
And I think what helps with Dennehy too is, they chose not to make it, hey man, what are you doing in my town?
Right.
Get on up out of here, boy. And you're like, all right, I know this guy has no redeeming quality. Was Denny just has a cold iciness about him.
Right.
He's like, sun goes down. You don't hang around here. We don't want your kind around here.
Which is once again because he stands for America at the time, which was rejecting their Vietnam veterans, right? Throwing baby shit on them and whatever we'll call them, child killer when they came off the plane, things like that, or like having because we technically lost that war, and it's not something that you at the time were revering veterans for serving, and so many of them came back damaged mentally from the experience, the Agent Orange, all of that, so. People didn't want to see Vietnam veterans. Some of the people in this country didn't want to see Vietnam veterans. Didn't want to work with Vietnam veterans. They want to be around them. And so Stallone symbolizes that because he's coming back. He's trying to figure out. He's like walking. He's almost like kung fu. He's just walking from town to town, trying to figure out where he belongs. Right, what he's trying to do. And the sheriff just will not let him go, and will not let him be. And it just becomes what it becomes. And great to see young David Caruso there as kind of this dickish deputy, and Richard Crenna is just incredible as Colonel Troutman.
Nice pull.
Yeah, and then what he becomes, like, it's the thing, and like because he's visiting all the people who've died from his platoon, because he's trying to touch base with them and he's trying to find his way back home, right? Mm-hmm. And so when he breaks down at that end, he's like, he's dead. No one's there. No one's left. And it's clearly that he was a guy who wasn't that smart necessarily, certainly smart for war, but he was like a guy who really had a very sensitive nature, but he just didn't he couldn't process that this family that he had built outside of probably a terrible upbringing was gone, and how he couldn't process all the losses at once, and he was losing it. And I think this is the thing that sometimes people come at Stallone, and maybe this is something for my channel to do one day, but people come at Stallone too much, and they imply that he's stupid, or they make fun of the way he speaks. And it's almost every one of these films of his, he tries to throw a really interesting social message or political message in the movies, like Fist, which wasn't that good, but he has that. Even Rocky has a little bit of that, the underdog aspect of it all. And so here again, he's making a comment about the world. And yeah, it's based on a David Morrell book, but he's still playing this guy in a certain way to reflect what was happening. So it's a lot of respect for the military, but also a lot of wanting to show what we did to these people. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I think he's way more intelligent than people give him credit for.
Yeah, that to me is a more interesting exploration of the catharsis that the country needed to go through.
Yeah.
As opposed to something like Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%.
Whereas Born on the 4th just felt like we were needlessly ripping a scab off, and I didn't need to go through that again. Whereas First Blood puts me in the perspective and helps me understand, how is this my fault? I was following orders, but then that's the Nuremberg defense.
Yes, right.
But he didn't ask to do all this stuff. He signed up potentially if it was early on because it was the patriotic duty and we were going to war and
serve his country.
Thing. Yeah. And now you're spitting on me for doing my patriotic duty, which you didn't have the stones to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I went and did this for this country. Yeah, exactly.
And God bless those people that do sign up.
Yeah.
It's in some individuals' DNA. Others are just young and dumb, and they're like, I don't know, I need to do something.
Yeah. Or they have no other option. Right.
Yeah. They have no other option. I know some people that somehow knew intuitively that they would thrive in a very structured world. Yeah. And they've done very well in the military, but they were hellcats outside of it. Yeah. And they just needed the structure of, you need to be here at this time and you need to execute this task, and they're good at that.
That's why I did it. That's why I had no fucking, I was out of, I had no,
I've known a few.
Yeah. Once you get in there though, it teaches you. I think, I left it because I hit my wall where people were just not, I wasn't surrounded with too many smart people. So you kind of hit that wall where it's I don't want to keep doing this here. But now as I got older, it's now I would totally go in as a job, that I could totally do that as a job because you have the regimented things, where everything is, what's expected of you. Yes, there's red tape and yes, there's bullshit going down. But now I'd understand what it was and I've lived my life.
Yeah.
So I can go and now relax and do a settled job working for the military, doing something at a department or whatever like that. And that would be, fine, but when you're young, you're just no, I want to do more, to just be this. But you're right. For some people, the regimented nature of it all kind of saves their lives and gives them something to aspire and look forward to. Yeah. True.
And others are I love the ones that never in a million years should they have done this. It was a dumb decision because you don't have the personality type for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've known those as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You've known more. You've known more of all these types of things.
A few of those. Yes.
As a civilian, I knew a lot of these. Yeah. I only had one friend that I never understood, but he thrived.
Oh, really? Wow.
He's just the nicest guy. He has no problem with law and order.
Right.
But he's such a free spirit of an individual.
Yeah.
He's done 2 tours in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Much respect. Dude.
He came back. I mean, he's still close to who he was. I miss who he was.
Yeah.
But some of that is lost to time anyway.
True. We all change.
And he's close. I've changed. He's changed. He's still one of the nicest, most free spirit individuals I've ever met.
That's good.
I think it's just more about a brotherhood thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get that. All right. First Blood sparked a big conversation. All right. What's your number 2, man? Oh, number 2 was
3 was the punt from earlier, Gandhi.
Okay. All right. So now it's closer to where I had it at 4. So Gandhi's at 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Down to 3. It's when you'd seen it long before I had.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up, and it's kind of one of those that slipped through the cracks, and I forgot about it. And then you see a picture of Ben Kingsley every once again, and you're like, "Oh yeah, you played Gandhi," but never think to sit down and watch it. And it's totally worth it. It is worth every second of that, however long the runtime is.
It's 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little over 3, I believe.
Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. Let me see.
because you need that kind of slow scope if you're going to attempt to tell the story of a man who, before there was social media or any kind of truly national media presence outside of a newspaper, built a groundswell of the entirety or the majority of the nation to his cause through word of mouth.
Yeah. Yep.
Doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah, man.
And we all collectively as a world go, Gandhi was a good one.
Yep.
To be known. And now your name will echo through the ages as far as, as long as we can remember, we will remember.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I watched it again the other day for like 30 minutes. It was on either Showtime or the Epix or the Movie Channel, one of those. And I was just like, I don't get how people cannot like this movie. It's a gorgeous movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful message. It's a incredible performance from a 26-year-old Ben Kingsley. And it captures the essence of this man and what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And the terrible things that the British Empire were doing to India, to Indians, South Africa as well, the stuff that they were enduring there. And then you see how he progresses from this idealistic young lawyer into a guy who figured out how to speak in public. And it was the authenticity of him, the honesty of him that really came across versus other people who were like more eloquent or more verbose or grandiose or whatever. It was Gandhi's simplicity, Gandhi's just kind of authenticity that people gravitated to in large numbers, which is why he was able to do the things that he did, and that scene when he's starving himself and he's on the fast and the guy comes up, right? Yeah. I mean, just when he finally admits to him that he's done what he told him to do. It's such a beautiful. I cry every time because the guy like breaks and just kisses his feet because it's that finally getting through to even through the most violent person to their heart, and so it's not an easy thing to do, but it was incredible to do that. Yeah.
And in no way do I view that as brown face.
Well, he's half Indian. He's half Indian in real life. Kingsley.
Oh, is he?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they cast him. Yeah. The reason why they cast him.
He gives such a dignity to the performance.
Yeah, that's a great word, Matt. Absolutely.
It does. And even if he was fully I wouldn't care who, but it's also me as a white guy, and I'm used to seeing white guys as the leads in movies. So perhaps it's my subconscious racism. And if so, guys, let's enjoy it while it lasts.
Before they
probably going to go away eventually. But it's find the right person for the role. It's like the objections. Who's the newest person potentially coming out with a transgender movie?
Yeah.
Was it Scarlett Johansson like a year ago?
Yeah, that was supposed to come out. Yeah, the one that was based in Pittsburgh. I remember.
Yeah, it was rumored, and then people said you should get a trans, gender person, or whatever the role was. And while I agree with you in principle, if you do that, producers are never going to give you the money. You're never going to make this. Even if you do make it, it's not going to get enough eyes on it. Now, it's nice that it was made. This is my opinion solely.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put somebody like that in, that's going to get eyes, and now maybe more of your story gets across so that once there is a transgender individual of enough fame, they can make a movie like that.
It's that middle ground that you're trying to figure out.
I'm not against it. You're just asking for the moon.
Right.
And you'll get it eventually. I'll help you. But you got to get more people to go, I'll help you too. And it just like Gandhi, started with those locally around him and grew from there. We'll get it done, guys. It's a whole list of things. Whether or not it happens in my lifetime, I'm not sure. I thought there was a chance. Maybe not.
It looked like there was a chance 2008. Oh, well.
Well, I don't even think of that. There was more ingrained problems still persisting that I didn't realize. And the internet helps bring that to the fore.
Oh, it certainly does.
It does.
By the way, Kingsley's the same age as Stallone. They're both 76. It's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Can you imagine Kingsley on HGH like Stallone is? Just all veiny and yoked for no reason.
I want to be part of the Expendables. I want to be part of the Expendables. You'll make me a part of the Expendables. I think Stallone would jump at that opportunity to put Kingsley in an Expendables movie. But yeah, he was born. His actual name is Krishna Pandit Banji. So I mean,
oh wow,
you don't get more Indian than that, I don't think. His mother was English, and his father was of Gujarati Indian descent. So, and he was born in England. In the UK in Yorkshire, North Riding of Yorkshire. So, yeah, North Yorkshire, England. So, he kind of had the best of both worlds. It kind of, put him in a position to play this role. And I think he won Best Actor for it. And I know the film won Best Picture. And Sir Richard Attenborough directed it. So, people have seen it.
Fairly certain he won the Oscar for this.
As director? Probably.
No, as actor for...
Yeah, I think he did. I believe
so. Because if you look at the other movies that came out that year, who else had a performance that stacks up?
Oh, you're right. He won the Golden Globe and the Oscar. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for telling me about the Golden Globe. You could never do that again if you like. It's utterly meaningless. Oh, he got the People's Cable Ace Choice Award. Okay.
He got the Doorstop Award. He got the Doorstop Award. That's basically it.
Oh, he got the popularity contest with Teeny Boppers. Congratulations.
He got Best Kiss at the MTV Movie Awards.
Got Teen Nick, radical dude of 1991. This guy's radical. I don't even know what would they give now, the Swag Award, but that would probably be played out in a year or so.
Yeah, I guess the Swag Award. You're right.
Something like that, or the Drip. Oh, he just won the Drip.
The Drip. Yeah, that's what Winston calls his team. It's called Swag his team, and he talks about giving them the drip. And I was like, all right,
exactly.
All right, guy.
But it'll be phased out. How old is Winston? He might be aging himself out.
I think Winston's in his late 20s, early 30s. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
Incorrect. He is 62.
Black don't crack, son.
Might want to remember that for the Schmoedown. We are going to get into birthdays.
I apologize.
That's when Mance comes back in. I know that birthday. All right, Mance.
I'm ready. June 7th, 6:15 a.m., 1972.
I was listening to Abbey Road. Okay. Do you keep a diary for this, or is this all just stored in there? Your mind pyramid, or mind?
It was me and Mr. Mustard. I remember distinctly. The film won Best Director as well. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, and Best Editing. God damn, that thing cleaned up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's not up against a whole lot of prestige picks that year.
Oh, wow. Listen to you. We just said 1982 was like a big year for movies. What are you talking about?
Well, we both did, but it's a big year for great movies that you'll carry with you, type of thing.
Gotcha.
Like seminal movies for me personally. Yeah. But as far as Oscar bait type of, this wasn't.
Right.
What
was E.T. was the other film. Missing, Tootsie, and The Verdict. Those were the other 4 films nominated for Best Picture.
What of those films qualitatively, as far as the Oscars is concerned, and what they reward, especially at that time?
Yeah.
God checks every one of the boxes tenfold.
Wow, craziness.
Yeah, nobody else had a shot. It was legitimately a year where they're like, I'm happy I'm here.
Yeah.
This is nice. Maybe it helps with the box office receipts. Appreciate that.
You know who got nominated for Best Director that year? Wolfgang Peterson for Das Boot. But Das Boot is not a 1982 film. It was released in 81 around the world and then released in the
US a year later, whatever, 6 months later.
Yeah. So fascinating. And then Kingsley beat Dustin Hoffman for Tootsie, Jack Lemmon, Paul Newman, and Peter O'Toole for My Favorite Year, which was a very difficult cut on my list. I love My Favorite Year. It's my kind of movie, and I couldn't put it on the list. So, all right, where are we, dude? Oh, we got way off track. Where are we? Wait, your 2. We already did your 2, right? Yeah. All right. So we're at Wrath of Khan, which is my number 2.
Okay.
Which is your punt from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it again this morning. It was on Epix this morning. I was watching about 20 minutes. It was late to my morning show this morning because I was caught up watching it. There is no other. I don't think there's any other movie that is as much of a crack movie as Wrath of Khan is for me. Whenever it's on, I just go, or I light up the thing or whatever, and just I'm addicted to it. I'm not even Major League, which is probably a film I've seen more than any other film, except for maybe Wrath of Khan. Not even Major League can keep me watching like Wrath of Khan does. Like I get so fucking mad because I'll start it and I'm like, fuck. And I get sucked into it. I've lost hours. I've rescheduled events. I've canceled on people. I've done that because I get sucked up into the movie so hard that it does that to me. And I love Shatner. I think it's Shatner's best performance as Kirk in any film. Yeah. And I love that there's like this darkness to the whole thing from beginning to end. When they go down to Regular One and everyone's been tortured, like that is brutal to see in Star Trek. It's like a horror film for that 10 minutes of time on the screen that they go down there. And then, of course, the confrontation with Khan and Ricardo Montalban as a Latino villain who was badass in that movie. That was so great for me as a kid to see. So, and the score is incredible. I think another Jerry Goldsmith score. So you're just like, man, this is just stellar from top to bottom. So I don't know what more I can say about it. And of course, that ending, which is so heartbreaking and moving. So yeah, that's what I say.
It's what I saw 3 in the theater, then 4 in the theater.
Yeah.
But in the interim, I think between 3 and 4, I saw 2 and 1.
Okay.
Type of thing.
Right.
And 2 gave me hope because 1 and 3 were not fun as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
I especially hate 3. I hate it in the theater. All the crying and the earth shaking as it's being terraformed while he's also going through. So when he's a child, the earth, that earth is a child or that planetoid object, whatever the fuck, in his teenage years, and it's all the seismic activities. Like even as a kid, it's like, I get it. This is not fun. I hate that. I understand what they're doing in the overall arc.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if 3 was the last one, what a disappointing movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're making that assuming you're going to be Star Trek. You're not really Star Trek yet. That comes later once we have a hit of Next Generation. Like 4 did well at the box office. They did okay.
Right.
Type of things. But so 2 was the saving grace of why I believe I went and saw 4. I saw 4 in the theater too. And 4 is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought it was just magic coming out. And it still captures all of that. Whereas Khan is much darker.
Yeah. Which I love.
Yeah. Which is good. I wish I'd seen that later in my life because it probably have more of a resonance than 4.
Yeah,
I still like it. It's excellent.
Yeah.
It just doesn't compete for me.
6 is still one of my favorites. I still love 6.
I like 6 a lot too. Yeah. It probably for me goes honestly 4, 6, 2.
Wow. Wow. See,
I'll give it to you. Like 2 is probably the best movie.
Right. You know that objectively.
Yeah, but to me, Star Trek is about fun.
Yeah.
And it's not this huge character development. Could be though, but at that point in how I view those movies. But yeah, 6 is so much fun. The stand in for Siberia type of
the Gulag
colony and the Amon who can shift and so what's her real look and the assassin in the United Nations of space.
The United Nations of space. That's a great way to put it.
That's what it is.
That's great. Yeah. Still topical too, this idea of having to confront, changing your opinions about a long-held belief or hatred of a people.
Yeah.
So there we go. I mean, what can I say about Wrath of Khan? Everybody knows. I mean, it's just so fucking good. It's the best. Number 1 then is what's your number 1?
Is The Thing, the pun from earlier.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
And we just flip-flopped on 5 1s, didn't we?
I think so. Oh, bring out the coin.
Yep. All right. Got it right here.
Bring out the coin. I should get me a coin for these occasions.
So The Thing and Blade Runner, we've talked a great deal about.
We have.
Even the remake of The Thing is pretty good.
Yes.
The sequel to Blade Runner, for me personally, I like that more than Blade Runner.
I can't say that, but I do love it.
Okay.
So I think it's equal. I could see either one at any time, and their scores are both stellar. But yeah, I enjoy Villeneuve's vision, and I enjoyed Ridley Scott's timeless vision, which is why it's my number 1. It's still my meditation music. I'll put on the Blade Runner. Like there's been, if you go to YouTube, there's like multiple YouTube videos that have like Blade Runner music for 8 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours or atmosphere.
Yeah.
So they'll just basically take what you hear in the movie and just replicate it every hour. It's like, holy shit, man. So it's just like, it's incredible to just immerse yourself in that world. It's just something about it so unique. So, and it changed the face of science fiction. I think it's still behind 2001. I think it's the greatest science fiction film ever made. So it's number
You're
2.
not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people hold that. It never captured that much of my attention or imagination. I liked it, but not the problems I had with it, but the scenes that aren't my favorite in it still aren't my favorite. Like what I love about it, I still love. And it's about 75-80% of it. Yeah. And there's like, I would cut this one or maybe interject with something over here. Yeah. But overall, it's, excellent to me. That's where it ends up like on a 5, whereas the thing for me, still super impressive to this day. Even the practical effects that they choose to use. Yeah. It looks cheesy every once and again, but it still kind of looks badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to know that they did this all, they made all the props and it's all by hand and it's, that's corn syrup with red dye and
all right.
It's a special effects, truly just a craftsmanship kind of artisanal movie.
Yeah.
Tiny little budget, taut. And the best part is it ends and you get to, much like Inception, does the top go down or does it stay spinning? Right. The thing gives you a nice little, piece of that. I think, it's just an excellent horror movie.
I agree 1,000%. Okay, well, there's our separate lists of the top 10 films of 1982. We're going to put these things together and have a final list for you here. I'm going to grab the bongos. Rosin up the bowl a little bit.
Alrighty now. We're flipping the coin for 1-5.
Yep. Here's the deal.
Oh, what? You're putting rules on a coin flip?
Just real quick. Whoever wins the flip, it's number 1. But then whoever loses the flip it's number 2.
That's no, that's
okay.
Right. I was not going to fight you on that.
Okay.
We're just deciding which of these two things should be number 1. All right, I'm going to flip it, call it in the air, flipping now.
Heads.
Because I only have a regular. It is heads.
Yes!
Only have a penny on me. The other thing is across the room. So
rightfully so, Blade Runner.
And you don't care because you won.
Yes, right. That's right. For once. On a non-weighted coin.
Let's see. So First Blood is now 2-3.
Yeah.
Gandhi is 3 what?
Which one?
Gandhi?
Gandhi is 4 for me. Yeah, 3 for you.
Okay.
Where's Wrath of Khan for you? Way down?
6.
8? Oh, 6. Okay. All right. That's my 2. So
2. So all right. So Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
Top 5.
That's cool.
We have Verdict, and that's it.
Lower,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only thing we have in common, right? Oh, wait, is Blade Runner, Star Trek 2, First Blood, Gandhi, and The Thing? Those are on the top 5 right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, the Verdict is at 6 for me.
All right. So personally, I think my 3.
What's your 3?
It's King of Comedy.
Yeah, put it there. I don't care.
Your next highest.
The Verdict at 6.
Okay. So the Verdict. I got my 4. So you don't have that. So
what's your 4?
The Wall.
Yeah. That's right.
I got my 7.
So do I. My 7 is Conan.
All right, flipping a coin.
All right, what's your 7?
Had to get the coin. See, now this is where I am fair, whereas in the past, certain individuals have said, well, you won the last one, I should win this one. And my belief is they're all independent of one another. There should not be, unless it's an agreed upon cascading effect. Unless, as you stipulated earlier on the 1-5, which I would never do, it seems only fair to do it the way we did it.
How long is
say I would get the next one.
How long is this diatribe?
As long as need be. All right, you ready?
Yeah, you get to call it because I called last time.
I'll give it to you. Call it in the air. Go now.
Heads.
Hey, you won again.
Oh! This is that rare moment where I win twice. The rare show, rather.
All right, good to go.
Are we good? All right.
Yep.
All right, the top 10 1982 movies. Yeah. At number 10.
The Secret of Nim.
At number 9.
Conan the Barbarian.
At number 8.
Pink Floyd The Wall.
At number 7.
The Verdict.
At number 6.
King of Comedy.
At number 5.
Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
Gone. At number 4.
Gandhi.
At number 3.
First Blood.
At number 2.
The Thing.
And our number 1 movie from 1982 is
It's Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. All right. Fantastic stuff. There we go, Matt. Our top 10 1982 movies. Thank you all so much for downloading this episode. If you're listening to us on the podcast format or if you're watching us on the YouTube channel.
Damn straight. Thank you for everybody that supports us there. Retweet it if you like the tweets. Bobby Carney is crushing it for us on the social media. So thank you, sir.
Is doing great work, man.
He is doing great work each and every week. He's got some gems, and we love it every time.
Yes.
We hope you're enjoying the golden tickets. And if you'd like to join in on that or Topic Thunder, which comes out on Thursdays, go to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. At $5 and up, you get the shout out. You get to participate in Topic Thunder. If you go up, like whatever, the different tiers, we have different things for everybody involved. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Knows. Check out Dropping Dimes and Settle the Score. And that's it for me this week.
Yeah, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see, if you listen to us on a podcast format, all the stuff you see on camera. You listen to, you can see on camera on the YouTube channel. So go subscribe there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. Trying to get to that 15,000 subscriber mark. Would really appreciate your help and assistance. See all the great content we got going on there. And of course, the Cinephiles and the Geek Buddies. There you go. All of that happening in my life. So thank you all so much for being a part of the Top 10 family. We love it every single time we get a chance to entertain you and be a part of it. And please share it. Please share these episodes. As Matt said, please get other people aboard. You know, some people have kind of moved away from being patrons because of, financial situations or whatever. But like people are starting to slowly move back into some jobs, into some work. So try to pass on this show to them. Try to get them hooked into the top 10. Share how great and funny this show is and how much it can pick their spirits up with all the stuff going on in the world right now. So that's what I would say, Matt. I think that's cool.
Yeah, we understand that the global pandemic could hit you in your wallet. So if you'd be so kind as to share the show, we appreciate that just as much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's it from us here on the Top 10 show. You all take care. Have yourselves a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.